Log 14. It's been a week since the incident, and weird things are going on. 2 people have already died from an unknown ailment, and the rest of us at one point seem to have a bad case of food poisoning or something. The hazmat teams that were supposed to come help us have not arrived yet. We are still ordered to stay at this site to quarantine. The worst part, someone or something is with us down here. I saw it just yesterday. I swear I'm not going mad. It looked like a human, but looked wrong. And log. Log 18, B. I spoke with the head scientist about these things. He is as clueless as me as to where they came from or what they are, but he has a few theories. He believes that the arrival of these things are related to the Collider's unscheduled activation when the President was visiting. He theorizes that somehow the unscheduled activation of the Collider opened a gateway, a portal, to a parallel universe or dimension, and those things came through. I hear the head scientist is planning to attempt to communicate with those things. Why do I have the feeling that this will end badly? Meanwhile, our attempt to communicate with the outside world is falling on deaf ears. And to make matters worse, we're running out of food, water, and supplies. Fights are starting to break out on how those supplies should be divided. Everyone seems to be slowly going mad. Yesterday, 2 of the engineers that are in quarantine with us got sick and tired of us waiting for the green light to be allowed to leave the site, and decided that they were going to try to bust out. However, the door seemed to be sealed from the outside, because no matter what they did, from using brute force to construction tools, the door would not budge. They started yelling at the head scientist afterwards, saying that the government has left us here to die. The head scientist attempted to calm them down and assure them that the government did not abandon us. I want to believe him, but, oh God, please let him be right. The power had cut off some 18 hours ago. The generators failed in the first week of the quarantine, so we had to rely on outside connections. But the power was cut off, I expect intentionally. The government has abandoned us. They abandoned us to these monsters. The head scientist tried to communicate with them. He went missing afterwards for 18 hours. When we finally found him, God, something horrific happened to him, and him being murdered by that monster, that was the least horrific thing that happened to him. When we found him, oh God, it was horrible. His eyes, they were gouged out, and they were put back in. But in the opposite eye socket, his ears were cut off his head, then resewn onto the opposite sides of his head. Part of his nose was missing, but his mouth, oh God, his mouth was cut and shaped into an unnatural smile. He had 2 papers in his pocket. One was a report of what the authorities consider the monsters, or rather the cover-up. In their own secret files, they are saying that the monsters aren't real, and we are seeing them because of psychedelics in the air of this site. The Reversed. Yes, that seems to be an appropriate name for these monsters. The Reversed are real. They are real. They are real. They are real, I tell you. The reason why I, along with several others, are still alive, it's because they are playing with their victims. They seem the Reversed. They seem to enjoy driving us to the edge of insanity. The Reversed. They have been making the past 4 weeks a living hell. The other papers seem to be some sort of cipher. I wasn't able to translate anything except for one word: Montauk. We are now officially out of food and water. The temperature down here has gone up significantly due to the electricity being cut off, and we are in complete darkness. If we are not murdered by the Reversed, we'll probably die from dehydration. We've given up on the government saving us. If anyone is listening to this, the Reversed are out there. They are out there. They are.
It is too late. We have escaped. We have evaded. We will infiltrate. We will conquer. Don't look so gloom. Come here. Are you afraid that you are ugly? Perhaps you should look at yourself through a mirror.